Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Poll. I'm Sal, and I'm joined today by DC extraordinaire guy, and also, of course, all-around awesome comic book dude, Jason Inman of Jowin, and of course, Caped Joel, who is a great guy as well. To know him personally is to love him. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are going to be chatting about the San Diego Comic-Con, or Comic-Con International. Before we get into the actual list of topics, I want to ask Jason a question. Is it San Diego Comic-Con, or is it Comic-Con International?
It's San Diego Comic-Con. Nobody calls it Comic-Con International.
That's what I thought. Now, is that a thing that they're going to, do the people at Comic-Con go like, they're not taking the name, why aren't they taking the name? Or are they just like, we get it, we're not going to change it?
I don't know. I do know that that's the basis for why they've been suing smaller cons to they're like, no, we're Comic-Con International, like it's worldwide. So if you put Comic-Con in your name, we're coming for you.
Really? That's
yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
No, Comic-Con, that sucks. All right, week.
I prefer the more simple abbreviation, SDCC. You know, it's my country's answer to BTO, because we have no time to spare.
No, we must. We must abbreviate at all times. So yeah, Jason is the only person from this team who was actually at San Diego Comic-Con, and you had a number of reasons for being there, and I think we should talk most chiefly about your comic book related reason for being there before we jump into
we went
the
there because we had a limited run, one issue of Jupiter Jet, which I've talked about on this podcast before. At the Action Lab booth, we had 100 copies. We had an exclusive Nicholas Scott cover, and we sold out.
Oh, that's
and awesome. It was great. And let me tell you guys, there is getting a to look at your comic book in your hands, like physically feel it, like is a feeling that you can never, like, maybe when you have a baby that'll beat it, but like I don't have a baby, but until then it was a pretty grand moment.
It's your creative baby.
This is a milestone. If you love comics, there's never been a period where you weren't thinking to yourself, like, I should really make my own. I wish I could make my own. And so it's awesome to hear that one of our own has decided to jump into the pool and make their own, and to have it in your hands, to have it sell out, to have variant covers and con-exclusive stuff, and to actually be published by like a name group, Action Lab Entertainment. These are all milestones that any one of them would be a feather in your cap, sir. But congratulations to you.
Thank you, man.
So
Thank
great.
you. I wish I had it, but it's in the other room.
But it's in the other room. We can't get it. And by the way, I am jealous of that cover because, as I understand it, the variant cover is of the cat, right?
What? Say that again?
Didn't you have a cat variant cover?
No. The variant cover was the Nicholas Scott.
Oh, that's right, the Nicholas Scott variant.
Yeah, because we can't reveal the actual issue 1 cover yet. That's why.
Oh, fair enough. Cool.
Mystery, intrigue.
Now you'll also be at New York Comic Con. Will there be any more Jupiter Jet action going on there?
There should be. We haven't finalized anything yet, but there should be another issue 1 of Jupiter Jet because we just found out that at the end of this year, the series will debut in comic book stores.
Nice.
Hey.
That's exciting.
Yeah, but we don't know how that'll schedule out with New York Comic Con yet.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Really quick aside, Isap just subscribed for 25 months in a row. Thank you, Isap. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. With that in mind, let's jump into what happened over San Diego Comic-Con. Some of our favorite things, some highlights, and just our overall thoughts, and maybe some first-hand accounts of some really cool shit.
Can I tell you a couple, just really quick, because I know they're not in our topics, the 2 like random moments I have?
Please do.
Oh, I got 3 real quick. 1, I met the guy who, Cameron Kufufe, I think is his, Kufufe, he's the lead of Krypton.
Oh, that's right. I saw your picture, yeah.
He's a very nice gentleman, and he actually recognized me. So no matter what you think about Krypton, I talked to him about Superman for 15 minutes. He's a total comic book nerd.
That's awesome.
He's all in. So it's kind of like you were talking about before, like making that transition. Like, guys, there is a real comic book nerd playing a member of Superman.
Yeah.
The Superman family. So
that's awesome.
That actually made me a way more excited for Krypton than like any trailer I've seen so far. Where I was like, oh, there's one of us in the show.
One of us cares. That rocks, man.
Yeah. The other one was I got to talk to Stephen Moffat about Doctor Who for like 10 minutes. He was just randomly in a hotel lobby, and I was like, oh man, I got to go talk to him. So we chatted about that. And then I saw Anson Mount, who plays Black Bolt. very angrily walked down the sidewalk. So I think either he didn't like his trailer or somebody told him that they didn't like their trailer.
Wow.
Was he silent or was he not silent?
Was he
He
grumbling
was
to
very
himself?
silent, but he had like a huge scowl on his face.
I gotta tell you, man, that is the face of his character in every shot of him in every single Inhumans trailer. Is him just
Never
scowling.
happy.
That is his perpetual face. I don't know. That he might have just resting bitch face for him.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Resting
those are like
human
three like really random, because that's the thing that happens at San Diego Comic-Con is you'll like randomly just walk by the people that make these things.
Oh yeah. Oh, we had a store. I've never been into San Diego. I really was like hoping that I could make it this year. It didn't work out, but maybe next year. But my San Diego is New York Comic Con. I remember last year. It's not even my story to tell, but Ben, one of my co-hosts, he had to leave the show floor to meet us at Valiant. A little later than the rest of us. We're all gone. He's running to catch up with us, and he's walking behind this douche. He's like this freaking douche with this rainbow hair, and then he realized it's Max Landis, and he's like, and he goes, "Hey!" Landis turns around like he's about to be attacked, and Ben goes, "You're Max Landis," and he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "My friend really likes your Superman comic, but I gotta go." And Max is like, "Thanks, buddy." But ran away.
We also met the two. Well, no, we didn't meet them because I was the only one who noticed them. The two anchors from IGN, Max Scoville and the other guy. And I really wanted to say hey, but I was so starstruck that they were in front of us in traffic, I couldn't remember Max Scoville's name.
I remember that.
I just recognized his ugly Hawaiian shirts that he wears everywhere. And like, it's the guy, it's the IGN guy. He used to work at Destructoid. What's his? Oh God, they're gone now.
I find that happens a lot at cons where I'll see somebody and I'll be like, well, I don't know if they're them, and I'll slowly pull up their Twitter to look at the picture and confirm.
I've done. Oh man, I remember when okay. Now we're just evolving into stories from cons, but.
Hey, it's fun.
I didn't know. In 2006, I went to Baltimore Comic Con. I'm talking to Dan Slott, and then this gigantic dude comes by, and he's like, "Hey, Dan, what's happening?" And it sounded like a person I knew. And he goes, "That's Kevin Grievous," and I didn't know that Kevin. I didn't know. I couldn't. I said I did not know his name versus who he was. So I'm desperately trying to look up Kevin Grievous, and I'm like, is he spelled like General Grievous? Like it's never found him, and I was just like, hey man, it's great to meet you. You're awesome. And then like about a year later, I'm like, oh crap, I know who Kevin Grievous is. Son of a bitch. Oops.
You met one of the Lycans.
I did. I met Lucian's. I met Lucian's.
Oh man, I forgot about those movies. All right,
everyone does.
How about we talk some comic books,
guys?
Please
do. Yes.
Sure.
Let's get into it.
So I figure I'd start us off with something nice, something comic booky, and then we can jump into the movie multimedia stuff. Despite not being announced in the solicitations for Marvel Generations Marvel Legacy, Captain America, Steve Rogers, will be getting a brand new book, and it's being penned by one hell of a tag team dream team. It's Mark Waid and Chris Sammy getting the band back together for a new Cap book.
That is, if you want me to read Captain America, you say what Joel just said.
Is it Sam Nee or Sammy?
I think it's Sammy.
I think it's Sam Nee. But
Joel never knows.
Tomato.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think that what Cap...
It is Sam Nee.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cap
Sorry,
needs,
Sam.
No worries.
Cap needs to go back to basics after this status quo for him.
He's wearing the OG
terrible
costume.
Storyline. Yes.
Is it terrible? I don't think so. I enjoy it.
Oh no, I don't know if it's terrible, but it's not Cap.
Yeah.
It's evil Cap. He's a whole new character, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think you're exactly right. Cap needs to go back to basics. It's a good choice giving it back to Mark Waid, who has given us 2 stellar Captain America runs. It was so funny. I actually went to Ron Lim's table, who did one of his previous runs with him, and saw some of the Captain America artwork from his Heroes Return run this weekend. They're a dream team right now at Marvel. Like, their Black Widow series is great. Their Daredevil series is great.
Yeah.
I hope actually Marvel I would actually love to see them, Wade and Sammy, like literally do a run on every character at Marvel.
That's such a good idea.
But yeah,
they have the chance.
Captain America to them is crazy. It'll just be interesting to see what Secret Empire does with Cap, because and Joel, you said you're digging it, and you probably read more of it than me. I've only read the main series or whatever.
I've read almost all the tie-ins, which is rare for an event.
Okay, great. Then let me pick your brain, because
Please do.
does it seems to me like they're going to reveal that the Nazi Cap is not the real Captain America, and that there's this other Captain America out there, and somehow they got split, and
That's
is that
what it
the
seems
impression
like.
you're getting?
There's a few red herrings. There's the old guy who showed up. There's the Dreamscape Captain America. They got a couple ways out should they want to take it.
Well, yeah, it seems like they're going to tell us that the Captain America we've been reading for the last 3 years has not been the real Captain America, basically. And that's how they're going to get out of this whole Nazi thing.
I think that'd be a bit of a cop-out, especially because the marching order for this new Mark Waid series is Captain America going on a tour across America, a big apology tour. Sorry for taking over America. Sorry for the Nazi Hydra stuff.
I
cool,
honestly,
right?
they could do anything. I feel like the Dream stuff, the Dream portions of Secret Empire suggested, at least when it first launched, editorial change. So for me, like, the whole ending could be rewritten by now. Like, I'm not even going to be in a position to speculate, because, like, it could be 2 caps, it could be both caps. You never know.
It's the question too moving forward that, you know, as integral a part and a beloved character of the Marvel canon that Captain America is, there's maybe only a handful of runs that push themselves into must-read territory. Brubaker, obviously, yeah. Super
Nice.
must-read. Grunwald had a bunch of must-read stuff. And love it or hate it, Nick Spencer made Captain America a must-read book at Marvel. Whether you agreed or disagreed, you had to read it. And I wonder, will this Mark Waid book be the same?
I feel
I
like
actually like his Sam Wilson cap run better than
that's
his
good
Steve
stuff.
Rogers cap.
Yeah. I feel like Brubaker made Captain America a must-read book, but I think Nick Spencer carried on the tradition of making Captain America, of continuing Captain America being relevant, at least.
Because there's so many runs in between.
You left out the stellar 6-issue run by Rob Liefeld, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Oh, of course. You're right.
Remember when Cap teamed with Cable? Eisner winning.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Oh, no. That design will be in the annals of history forever.
the run that they say actually killed Grunwald, that he read the first couple issues of that,
right.
was like, I can die now.
Yeah, he just left. He was like, no. Oh, man. But yeah, new Cap book. I'm excited because it's a dream team. And you're right, Jason. We need to have just it would basically be like a Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale kind of thing, where it's like, no. Wade and Sam need to do a 6-issue run of every character and just make a miniseries.
I was really hoping, to be honest with you, because of their stellar Daredevil run, that when they were done with Black Widow, I was really, really hoping that they were going to announce Mark Waid and Sam Neill as the replacements to Dan Slott on Spider-Man.
Oh, that's too good. That's you're killing me.
Because Sam Neill needs to draw Spider-Man.
I agree, and I feel like I don't see nearly enough of that.
Yeah, it's true.
I gotta look that up.
Here's another important question moving forward too. Obviously, Captain America has grabbed a ton of headlines recently due to its political nature. We know Mark Waid can be a very political writer. He can also be more of a straightforward superhero writer. What route do you think this book will take? Because obviously Mark Waid has a channel for his more political ideas in Champions at the moment. Do you think a little of that will slip on into Captain America?
No, I actually think they're going with Mark Waid because he's the safe, steady choice. I think this is Marvel's kind of sort of rebirth a little bit, where they're like, okay, it's the same thing like, you know, when you're thinking about like, oh, well, who should write Superman? Well, let's get Dan Jurgens because he's done all these stellar Superman. Who's done a great run of Wonder Woman? Greg Rucka, of course. Yeah. I think Mark Waid, when they were like, oh, who should fix Captain America or who should bring Captain America back? It's Mark Waid, and I think his editorial edict is going to be straight up superhero Captain America.
Just iconic Captain America story. It would be like
there you go.
It would be like if they were like, okay, we need to fix the Avengers. Get Kurt Busiek because he's going to write some stellar Avenger stories. Like,
and can we convince George Perez to draw all the covers?
Right.
Don't tease me with that.
Just move Alex Ross away from the Spider-Man covers and put him on the Avengers. Like, I think that's the way to do it. Because I think George Perez is still recovering from his recent heart attack.
Ouch.
Yeah, he shows up to cons and still does stuff like that. But like, I know he's beyond like doing a monthly book, but he could do covers.
That's true. He could do covers. The thing is, with George Perez, the dude kills himself every time he works on anything because he puts like a zillion characters and a million pieces of detail.
It's his own damn fault, right?
It is. He's a perfectionist. The dude's like, okay, this would be a cool cover for the Avengers, but what if I put every single Avenger on the cover?
Every cover is my 16th chapel.
It really is. It's amazing. So yeah, but anyway, Captain America. I think it's gonna be a must-read book. I have avoided Nick Spencer's run on Captain America. I will definitely pick up. Mark Waid and Sam Nee's an instant buy. No question.
Yeah.
Instant win for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it also. Hey, I know we got some big Star Wars fans in the room right now, and I know that Marvel's been killing it recently with their new run of miniseries. Well, they got another one for you to get excited about. Grand Admiral Thrawn to get his own comic miniseries based on the Zahn books and written by Jodie Hauser, the woman who wrote the comic novelization of Force Awakens.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it.
That's weird. Because, like, isn't Thrawn, like, a character in Rebels now? Haven't they changed all that?
He is.
He is, but they did not give his origin yet.
Oh.
This book will seek to be his origin and a side adventure, and probably by the end of Rebels, if they're staying true to the EU continuity, Thrawn will either die in the Battle of Lothal or be sent to deep space like he was in the original EU, so he can live, but we won't see him anymore.
Okay. Yeah, it's, that's an interesting thing because ever since they basically got rid of all the old Star Wars EU and they brought in all this new stuff, everything, even the Marvel continuities now, is continuity.
Yeah.
Like, everything. And, yeah, I don't know, kind of, I hope this is going to be a loose adaptation of the Zahn books because, like, yeah, if you make a literal adaptation of the Zahn books, you're going to create so many continuity problems.
Big time.
In terms of like how this fits into the universe. That would be my only problem with this book. He's a great enough character that he could do it. And also, even though they're not in continuity anymore, I still say when people are like, "Oh, what's the Star Wars novel I should read?" I always tell them it's the Zahn trilogy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's good shit. They definitely seem to be picking and choosing from this one. They're like, well, we're going to shine a light on like his early years, his relationship with the Republic and all this other stuff, but we're also going to tell a standalone story. Basically how they've done for all of these miniseries so far, where it's like, this is the new canon, but it keeps just enough from the old canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is something that Rebels has done too. Like
Right.
they've kind of cherry-picked little things from the EU. So it's like, it's weird because they got rid of the EU, but then they're like still using so many names and so many characters from it.
It's true.
Might as well. It's free content. It's free IP right there. Let's just pick the good stuff. I like to think of the Disney Marvel Star Wars universe kind of like the ultimate version of Star Wars, where it's like it's the same stories, just a little different.
Yeah. That's fun.
That's a fair point. I like that. It's ultimate Star Wars. I like
Star
that.
Wars. Oh. That's a title. That's coming.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, it will. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Other new stuff coming out of the con, we got a big poster reveal for the new Dark Matter universe, which is the brand new imprint that's going to be launched by the Dark Days Metal storyline. And the flagship book surprised everyone. It's a book called The Terrifics by Jeff Lemire. And I
have a story about this.
Let's hear it, man.
So preview night happened at San Diego Comic-Con, right? And what we do for DC All Access when we're shooting this stuff is we go there on preview night, and the DC booth is 2 layers, and there's like a higher little balcony kind of thing like that. And so we go up on the balcony and we film all our episodes and stuff like that. So on preview night, we're shooting like our Saturday and our Sunday and our like little teasers and stuff like that will go out.
Right.
Because it's the only time that we're going to be together. And we can see everybody come in and out of the DC booth. And on preview night, I noticed Jeff Lemire hanging out in the DC booth. And that was before they announced this. And I was like, is he coming back to DC? What's he doing here? Who's he talking to? And then they announced this book the next day. And I was like, oh, there it was.
There it is. Yeah.
They also announced the day before that he's off Thanos now, which was the last Marvel book he's writing. Donny Cates is taking over that. And literally the next day they announced this.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm excited for this book because I like Jeff Lemire. And if you look at it, it's sort of a Fantastic Four kind of bopping through the multiverse.
Is. Oh, yeah. We got a super smart guy, an invisible woman, a craggy guy, ugly monster metamorpho with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about this is, and I don't know anything about this, so this is not confirmation of any kind, because I honestly just don't know. This is just pure speculation.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do we think Jeff Lemire had a Fantastic Four pitch that Marvel said no to?
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
I didn't think about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, there's no question that this is a Fantastic Four pitch. Like the speculation has, at least from what I've read recently, was, and there's no foundation in it, of course. It's just speculation. But the guess was, Lemire was like, "Hey DC, you want to do this Fantastic Four book? If Marvel ain't going to do it, and you know what, like, why not?" Don't let it sit in a drawer.
Sure.
Sell it.
We got this brand new imprint that's, more artist driven. You can play around here if you want. We can also swing our big corporate dicks and be like, hey, Marvel fans, not getting the Fantastic Four books you want because Fox is being a bit of a jerk about it and they're cutting off their noses despite their own face. We got you covered over here.
It's so weird. I gotta say, like, this book is going to have an uphill battle because I feel like Fantastic Four, even if Marvel wasn't hamstringing their own title, Fantastic Four is a hard sell. It needs to have, like, a really dynamite pitch and really, really significant word of mouth. It's why, like, people ignore Mark Waid and Straczynski's run on Fantastic Four because of Hickman's run on Fantastic Four. It needs to be just a door-blowing, like, moment and a terrific dynamite book. And if it isn't, like, amazing, it doesn't shake the foundation of your entire, like publishing line, then it ain't gonna sell. And if Fantastic Four doesn't sell when they're the Fantastic Four, I don't know if there's enough Plastic Man and Metamorpho fans to support a Fantastic Four book in DC.
I think you're right, but the one advantage this book has about happening at DC is that because they put these and I think they cast it pretty well. Like, I think it's a pretty good cast. Like, I like Mr. Terrific, I like Metamorpho. The advantage of taking this to DC is that Jeff Lemire can take more chances with it because they're lesser known characters. So he could create that door blowing moment. Yeah. Also, by moving it over to the DC, it honestly doesn't have to sell as well.
That's true.
So this book could be a monster hit. Well, not monster, but monster hit within comic books, like, selling a consistent 50,000.
Yeah.
And that's all it has to do.
Yeah. It also gets more eyes on this brand new imprint. And in fact, we heard a lot of news about what DC is doing with these brand new imprints. There's going to be a Young Animal crossover with the main DC universe, like official. So this means these universes, the Wildstorm, the newly created Milestone that they've started up too, we're going to see more crossover and more cross-pollination.
I mean, the
other interesting thing, too, is that what I was told about how they came up with the DC Dark Matter stuff is that it was this group of artists and these group of writers literally in a meeting room all day, and they had the, like, who's and DC encyclopedias, like, right in front of them.
Yeah.
And it was literally them, like, flipping through the pages, kind of being like, who would be fun to do?
Nice.
I can see that.
Yeah, like, so, like, the one thing that excites me about Dark Matter is it is, like, it's very creative driven. Like, they were in, all these ideas came from this meeting, and this all-day meeting in the room where they were just like, oh, this sounds cool, and this sounds cool, and then I heard that, like, all the artists had their sketch pads in the room and just started sketching. So some of the original sketches they've released are from that meeting.
That's awesome.
So, since it's creative-based, and not, like, I don't know, like, I think we could get some really interesting and strong books out of this Dark Matter universe.
I think so, too.
I hope so, man. I gotta say, like, I want to believe that innovation and originality and from a creative standpoint wins out over agenda and event and that kind of thing. I want to say, like, if it, like, cream rises to the top, and if it comes from a pure place of creative expression, it will sell. I want to believe that that's where it is, and I hope that it's true. I hope it does, just because it doesn't have a bat logo on the title, it doesn't sell.
Yeah, right. But also I think at the same time, it's the purest example of, like, what is the problem with Marvel compared to DC right now.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, it seems like the last year, all of Marvel's decisions have been made through, like, what's the next event? How can we tie into the movie? Can we sell more number ones? Whereas, like, on the DC side, it's been like, can we just tell a story about Superman having a son? Okay, good.
Yeah, and, like, if it links in with the overall publishing initiative, all the better for it, but if not, whatever. Because, like, John doesn't seem to be playing any major significant role in Rebirth. Which
not
is
at all.
Just, he's a byproduct of the Rebirth initiative, as opposed to, like, John came from Convergence, for God's sake. It's not even like he's even an
I
idea
know,
from
right?
Rebirth. Like, which
the
is
best thing from that event.
is literally the only like that Lee Weeks and Dan Jurgens did a phenomenal miniseries. Whenever anybody
Sure
says
did.
like, "Gee whiz, is anything good from Rebirth?" I mean, from Convergence. And I'm like, yeah, all the tie-ins. That great Marv Wolfman Teen Titans book was terrific.
Yes, it was.
Lee Weeks's and Dan Jurgens Superman was great. There
was
a
Gail
good Green
Simone
Lantern
Nightwing.
Parallax one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Parallax one. Yeah, great stuff.
Don't forget the Gail Simone Nightwing Barber, where it's like, hey, Dick Barber fans, I'm finally giving you the wedding and the love
Yeah,
story
you're welcome. It's
always
over.
wanted.
Done. Here you go.
You can hold this closer. Oh, Green Arrow fans, hey, look, we brought his son back. Hold that close to your heart for a little bit.
Yeah. Let's talk some more about DC. The DC dropped a lot of really, really terrific news bombs lately.
They did. It's kind of also in the same vein as the Dark Matter universe. They didn't say this next book would be part of the Dark Matter universe, but I don't doubt that it's going to be. Duke is going to be getting a special one-off issue called Batman The Signal. Snyder's going to be co-writing this with someone else, and the idea seems to be they want to like switch up what Duke kind of represents post Dark Days The Metal, because they want to say that he is the Bat family member and the sidekick who fights crime in Gotham by daylight.
Wait a minute, hold the phone here. Joel, are you telling me that Scott Snyder is going to be championing his original character Duke?
Indeed.
That is news.
It's madness, right?
And it blows my mind.
I unlike Sal, I don't have a problem with Duke.
really
I kind of
hate
like.
Duke.
I like this idea of being like, this is the place he'll exist in the DC universe. And again, they don't mention whether or not this is going to be part of the Dark Matter universe. But now
I don't think it is.
It's just
Isn't
something
it?
I think it's part of the Bat family.
Okay,
because I was going to say we now know that Duke is intrinsically tied to the events of Metal and the Dark Universe. I assume like, oh well, that's the end game, right? He goes and joins the Dark Matter universe, right? He's going to go join Champions of the Unknown because that's the book Snyder's writing, or at least that's how it's working in my head right now. I could be wrong.
I would not be surprised.
You know, the weird thing is, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do you like the name The Signal?
I like it better than Lark.
Yeah.
Well, what was Lark?
Lark was okay. We did I Am Gotham on back issues, and my entire comment section was full of everybody telling me that I was wrong about Duke's like.
We both
handle.
got reamed out about this.
What happened? Okay, so in one of the issues of like Scott Snyder's run on Batman, they have like Batman gets into like a future like apocalypse machine where he like lives out.
I remember that one.
And in one of the alternate non-existent futures, Duke and Batman and Bluebird are all fighting like monsters, and he refers to Duke as Lark as his like call sign. But it was in an alternate future that doesn't matter, and Scott Snyder, I think, was like I think he admitted that he was flirting with the idea of calling him Lark, and he tested it out there, and then he's like, I'm not going to call him Lark, and he just abandoned it.
He said on Twitter that day, he's like, oh, I was just trying that one out.
Yeah. So.
I think that's a bad name. But I don't know, man. Duke was always the best to me when he was leading We Are Robin.
Yeah,
like the Robin kids.
I never liked that book. I thought that book made Duke way less special by teaming him up with a bunch of other junior Robins. I'm like, no, he's less special now.
I thought the idea of creating a gang of Robins, kind of like the Sons of Batman and the Jokers, I thought was brilliant.
That's such a good idea.
And I think making him I didn't mind putting him in the yellow suit. I just didn't like the idea that we waited a year to give him a name. I was like, he's just Dude.
He's new idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the look of his armor. Duke, I think, is a good enough character. It'll be interesting to see how, what he looks like on the other side of Metal. Yeah, so far, I've liked everything that they've done with Metal. I've kind of been like, okay, I'm in. I'm kind of in on this. I don't know. We'll just have to see where he ends and how important he is to Metal. Because I think you are right, Joel. Like, he does kind of seem intrinsically tied to this event now.
Yeah. And what he is and what he will become will be two different things by the end of this.
Yes, my enthusiasm waned immediately.
I could hear your enthusiasm deflating like a balloon when we found out how important Duke is to the ongoings
with
of
his
Metal.
Terrible costume. Not to put too fine a point on it or anything. Here's my problem. Okay, I'm not going to get into a huge thing because I know we have a lot of topics. My point is, I have a problem with redundancy, and I really feel that Duke is redundant. I don't like I don't like the overcrowding of the Bat family. Batman is choked with allies now, and it's like, all right.
But I am glad they got rid of Bluebird.
Hey, that's kind of, you know what's funny? Like, it's frustrating that, like, the one new girl from the team was the one that got the axe, but we kept Duke. But at the same time, it's like, all right, like, she was part of the problem, so get rid of these, like, superfluous characters. I don't know.
I dug Bluebird, too, and they gave her a hell of a build-up, too, before actually giving her a send-off.
Did they, or did Scott?
Did you read Batman and Robin Eternal? I think
I
was... Not. I think it was actually Tynan who took the reins on Bluebird and really cared and really made sure that she got a send-off.
That's fair. Well, good for her.
She decided, hey, being a superhero is stupid and dangerous. I'm going to go to college.
I'm always reminded of that moment in Hush, which came out, 11 years ago?
2006, maybe?
Yeah, when Catwoman is like, for a loner, you certainly have a lot of loose ends. And I was like, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing.
All right, so, hey, in the world of digital comics, Iron Fist, a brand new comic series from Marvel to kick off their brand new Digital First initiative. This will be the continuation of the Carrie Andrews Iron Fist story, which I was not a huge fan of, involving a new...
I wasn't either.
Wow, really?
Involving a new little girl Iron Fist and a dragon and some other stuff. And a dragon. But you can never catch the dragon, though, is the problem.
You never catch. I'm your father. Anyway,
you'll never catch it.
You never catch the dragon, Dad.
You never catch it. But yeah, so I mean, not interested in the story, but like the idea of Marvel experimenting more with digital. Obviously, DC's been doing really good with it with Bombshells and Injustice. Even Valiant has been jumping on this too. It's about time because digital comics are the future.
Valiant High is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's fun. I dig it.
Yeah,
no, Marvel is the last horse finally crosses the finish line. Like, I think it's a great idea. I think that the fact that it's Comixology exclusive is interesting because it could be them testing the waters for their Marvel Unlimited thing, where it's like if you buy Marvel Unlimited, it's so bizarre they wouldn't couch it with Marvel Unlimited, which implies like maybe sales are down with that subscription thing. But who knows? I think it's a great idea. I think that it's the future. I think that digital exclusive / digital first is such a great idea, and it's a no-brainer. You reduce your costs. You can try it with high-risk books. You know, it's such a good idea. And
characters like Duke or other characters like that they're the perfect kind of characters that you're like, or the Terrifics. Yeah, those are those series that you could just go digital only, and then only release a trade physically.
Yeah.
You know, and it would save so much cost, and it would be less of a risk for many of these companies to do it that way.
And if it's good, which it ought to be, then word of mouth and critical acclaim will carry the book into its future. No, it's
and everybody will buy the trade.
And everybody will buy the trade, which you'll recoup any loss you might have had by not releasing it at $5.99 a pop.
Definitely,
it's just such a good idea.
I think they picked the right one with Iron Fist, even though Jason and I didn't like Carrie Andrews' run. It clearly has a culty enough following and fans who were disappointed, because remember, the promise was during the last Iron Fist run where it's like, no, this will be the sequel you'll get. Oh, no, wait, the TV show's coming out. Scrap all of that and get Ed Brisson to write something new vaguely related to the TV show.
Yeah.
I think that Iron Fist is a good idea. They should do it with more. I would love to see... You know, like lesser teams that like maybe they don't want to put as much of an effort on. I mean, like, man, Runaways would be a killer digital exclusive series.
Would it be a new Warrior show?
Yeah. I will say the artwork for this though, where you see him and the little girl with the Iron Fist, is very eye catching.
Yeah,
cool image.
No, it should be, and that's the other thing is with the being digital exclusive, it should reflect kind of like new art style. I think. Because that's where people are kind of consuming their art. If it should be reflective of like the internet age, like the reason, like okay, Squirrel Girl. If Squirrel Girl sells, which I don't know, I haven't looked at the numbers recently.
It keeps going.
But Squirrel Girl is
find out.
Yeah, please. Squirrel Girl is written by the dude who wrote Dr. McNinja, and it's drawn by it's Chris Hastings, and it's drawn by a person from DeviantArt. So like. Why isn't this a web comic that you can get either for free or for $1 through Marvel Unlimited.
It sells huge on like Amazon too on their like thing. It's
Yeah.
always one of the tops for it. So it clearly has a very strong net audience.
The chat has suggested it's 15,000 a month. Units.
They are incorrect. It is 10,000 a month.
Shit.
I just looked at the number from May was 10,000.
Damn. But I was gonna say, like, if you 10,000 units, kill your overhead and just release the damn thing digitally. And then when you're done, roll it into a trade, because we know those things are printed cheaply anyway, and you recoup your loss. We all make our living online. I don't understand. I don't understand how hard it is to just say, do this thing that works
Paper's
for these
expensive.
people.
It is.
Printing's
You
expensive.
gotta remember too. A lot of people running these companies are crotchety old men who don't understand the internet. Is the other problem.
Yeah, like
What do you mean? Put our comic on the internet box?
yeah. That's right.
People have to go to stores and buy them. Damn it!
The internet box.
I really so I will say for my bottom line, I hope Iron Fist does well. I hope it proves to Marvel that this model works.
It has a chance.
So
You know what would be a great also digital series for this, something like this, would be like Blade or Midnight Suns.
yes,
Yeah.
but they're going to release. They're doing Spirits of Vengeance. It's a whole series they're going to do.
Yeah, there you go.
Which, by the way, covers are going to be by Texiera, who used to draw Ghost Rider during the '90s. He drew the Danny Ketch run. It's cool. They're bringing him out. I'm like, that's great.
Always good to see. Speaking of things they're bringing back out again, Grant Morrison had a lot to say at this year's San Diego Comic-Con because he announced not one, but 2 comic sequels that he's going to be working on. One is Wonder Woman Earth 1 2, which was a given. We're getting a Green Lantern one as well.
Great idea.
And also a sequel to Arkham Asylum, but based in the 666 universe starring an older Damian Wayne.
I have... Oh, go ahead, Sal.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was like, oh my god, he's going to do another Arkham Asylum, like a Serious House and Serious Earth sequel? That sounds wonderful. It's set in Damian's universe? Bye. Nope.
But he wears a trench coat, Sal.
Nope. I read that. I read the 666 issue, and I was like, no.
My question is...
I do like Damian's Batman costume.
It's a really...
It is a rad costume.
They even reference it in Superman when John looks to the future and sees himself as a Superman and Damian next to him as Batman, rocking the trench coat.
So the night before I went down to say, here's more Jason story time from San Diego Comic-Con. So the night before San Diego Comic-Con, I went to this Black Mask event that was held in L.A., and Grant Morrison was at the event. And we were all talking about certain different stuffs or whatever, and I can't remember how the conversation got there, but Grant Morrison at one point was like, he brought up the idea that he was like, I'm not going to do his accent.
No.
Come on. That's the rule for this show. If you talk about Grant Morrison, you have to make an offensive
I'm gonna
Scottish
screw it up
accent.
so bad. So he talked about that. He was like, I'm still getting paychecks for Arkham Asylum. and the host immediately stopped the panel and was like, how much do you get per year for Arkham Asylum and residuals? And Grant Morrison said a number, and it was the debate of the rest of the like little party kind of thing. Of people were like, "Is that the real number, or is he lying?"
Right.
Grant Morrison, not missing a beat, said 70,000.
7D with a 0?
Like 70,000 a year. He's still getting from Arkham Asylum.
No, that can't be true.
And from this party, we were all like, "We think that's real."
No, see,
Because
I
he
believe
said
it
it
too.
without missing a beat.
Oh, 70,000.
And I believe it too, because it's always on like the Billboard top, like whatever for like comics, and it's always on the list of like the must-read Batman stories. It is always on the top. It's always on.
It's in the top
list.
5.
Yes.
But like,
and it's everywhere.
Here's the
too.
thing.
Like you can get it in bookstores.
I've got a counter question to that, and it means we have to go to Baltimore and meet up with Frank Miller. If Grant Morrison making $70,000 from Arkham Asylum, how much is Frank getting for Dark Knight?
Oh, probably more than you would
Since he
expect.
wrote and drew the damn thing.
Probably an easy $100,000.
You're saying $30K more? I say double.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I say if Arkham Asylum makes 70, Dark Knight's got to be like 150.
Here's the other one. Here's the other bigger question: how much is Neil Gaiman getting from Sandman?
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, I suppose, too, the question then becomes, who was the shrewder businessman and who signed the better deal at the time is probably another thing. Like, for all we know, Frank Miller signed a bad contract and gets pennies from it.
I don't see Miller doing that.
No,
I don't see Miller coming into a meeting and, like, and taking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've always heard
heard
gets
the
his
early.
way.
I've always heard the early 90 deals were very beneficial to the creator.
That's really
and then
cool.
like about mid 90s are where they cracked down on that.
They were like, all right.
Yeah.
No more of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wonder Woman Earth 1, number 2, man, give me more. I hope we get like 3 or 4 more volumes of that. Keep going, Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum Earth 666. I'll read it. It does seem like a little bit of a cash-in, but you know what? I'm intrigued because Grant Morrison's on board.
Yeah.
He clearly cares about the 666 universe. We've revisited it a couple times. And here's my question. Like, again, I could be completely misremembering this. Doesn't Damian, like, kill most of his enemies? Who is in his asylum? Doesn't he, like, murder everyone, if I'm not correct?
Well,
Yeah, they kind of revealed that in Batman Inc. They revealed that the 666 universe was like the weird vision that Batman had while he was dropping through time, and that's the reason why he created Batman Inc.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And also Jackanape.
I feel like if it's Morrison and if Damian doesn't have like a rogues gallery, then like it'll be more psycho drama. It'll be more like Damian is visited by the ghosts of his past. You know,
or maybe Damian gets locked up in the asylum, and that's the thing.
That's probably more likely. Is that he'll
there you go.
They finally section him for being a murder crazy Batman.
Yeah. And then he breaks out and he kills all the rogues, and then he gets out and it becomes Old Man Logan, where he's like, "Oh, I've murdered all the orderlies and I've slaughtered the entire people who work here." Like,
what do I do now?
I don't know. I
Take
feel like
it
that's a
on the
little more
road.
hackneyed than what Grant Morrison's able
I also
to
thought he
accomplish.
lived in the asylum as well in that universe.
Did he really? Did he live in it?
Yeah. I thought like the asylum was where the Batcave was. I could be remember that wrong as well. I don't know.
I think maybe I'm confusing this universe with like Kubert's Damian, son of Batman, which ran for a little bit, which was a weird Elseworld story that saw Damian become Batman, but only for a minute.
Yeah. Can we also talk about? Go ahead.
No, I was just yawning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We thought you had a perfect point.
I'm still catching up from the sleep from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, man. Ugh, dude, after those major cons, like, I'm wiped for a good week. It's exhausting.
Don't get the comic flu. That's
apropos old school celebrated creators coming back to properties, we're hearing apparently that Frank Miller is going to be doing a Superman Year 1.
Yo, thank you.
It's John Romita, right?
With John Romita Jr. doing the art.
Yeah.
That is like every red flag I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, okay, the worst Superman artist in recent years teaming up with the worst Superman writer in ever. I don't know. And by the way, I'm not saying... Actually, I've never seen Frank Miller write a Superman book. He's only written Batman books where Superman shows up.
Because it's interesting. The only thing I can say about this is honestly, like, I want to know what the pitch was.
Right.
Because Frank Miller has said in public before that he absolutely hates Superman.
And then has changed his tone in recent years.
Yeah,
no doubt
so
because
like,
he was working on this.
Yeah, so what's his pitch? Like, what the hell did he turn in for this?
Well also, if it's a Year 1, it's like, it's going to be another Superman origin. Like, come on.
Which we need more of those.
Yeah, which we don't need more
of those. And we need Frank's version of it, so we get to see his, like, oaky, shit-kicking parents be racists.
Oh,
and,
God.
like, have, like, really, really antiquated Midwestern values that make Superman, like, just a jerk. I don't know.
The mind just runs wild of all the horrible places he could take this book, because let us not forget, Crazy Uncle Frank is Crazy Uncle Frank for a reason.
Yeah.
He's that uncle who ruins Christmas every year.
I will always have if I ever meet Frank Miller, the first words out of my mouth will be thank you, because he wrote my favorite Batman story of all time. I will talk about like how All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder is a joke, and how like Holy Terror is just like garbage, but at the same time
300 is really uncomfortable.
I like 300. I think the visuals of 300 are fantastic.
It's pretty looking. Just don't think about it too hard.
Whatever. Like 300 is like it's a cool coloring book.
They're doing a sequel to that too.
They are.
Xerxes.
And Alexander the Great at the same time.
Yep.
So it's like,
the
look,
story
Xerxes...
that nobody asked for.
No,
Xerxes.
He's been threatening Xerxes for a long time. They mentioned Xerxes recently.
Yes.
And I was like, didn't they talk about that like 10, 15 years ago? But yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, and don't forget Frank Miller's amazing Daredevil run. Like, there's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
But I think a Superman is going to be... I think there's a 10% chance the book ever even gets past the script phase.
That's the thing too. Is Dark Knight 3 still going, or
It's
did
done.
that end?
It's
No,
finished.
it finished like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, and oh man,
It took them a year to publish 8 issues.
8 issues.
Jesus,
Oh,
right.
man.
At least they're saying Superman Year One is just going to be like 1 issue. It's going to be like 100 pager is what it's going to be.
That's the thing.
Oh, good.
I want more of that. We were just talking about Gotham by Gaslight. Goddamn! But first of all, great story.
Yep.
But I miss when DC and by extension everybody else would release just like a book, just like here, and it didn't have like a
one-shots.
Yeah, just a one shot, and I don't mean like like a single issue done in one. I just mean like a self-contained 48-page special that's like $6 to $10, and just here you go. I want more of those because consistently those are the things that sell. Like in every bookstore when bookstores existed on Amazon, you know, like the consistent sellers are the OGNs. They're the self-contained stories that are that endure and capture the like every element of the character.
That's why you'll see, I think, going forward more and more, you're going to see more of these like Earth 1 type books because those are around like 100, 110 pages.
Yeah.
The problem is like you can't do anything at 48 pages because there's no real way to collect it, and the trade market, especially in bookstores, is so huge now.
Right.
So whatever you publish now, you automatically have to be able to how do you collect it in a trade because otherwise we can't make our money off of it in Barnes and Noble.
Well, it's why you can't get Gotham by Gaslight unless it's in the Batman Elseworlds collection that's like 200 pages and has every one of them, which is frustrating though. If I only want to read 30 pages out of a 200-page book, I'm like, yeah. Anyway,
it's funny too.
Go ahead.
I was saying it's funny too. This Superman thing. Just before we head on there, that his Dark Knight one, they saddled him with a co-writer where it's like, look, Brian Azzarello, you got to watch him and make sure he doesn't say or do anything too nuts because you know Batman's our golden child. Superman, write Superman all by yourself. Right? He can take the hit.
I wonder if it was more of a speculation thing than an announcement.
You know, the other thing about it, too, is that the way John Romita works, John Romita still draws Marvel style at DC. So when you're working with John Romita, and Scott Snyder did this on All-Star Batman, you hand John basically an outline.
Right.
You don't hand him a full script, and John writes it.
Oh.
And then the writer comes back and does the dialogue. So I kind of wonder if that was the idea, where they were like, well, John Romita is sort of going to be co-writing this anyway, since he's, he decides how many panels are on every page and all stuff like that. And so,
That's true. Well, I mean,
They're hoping he can rein
I have to assume that's how it worked with The Last Crusade, that Dark Knight 3 tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm amazed you remembered The Last Crusade. That was so forgettable. I read that.
I read it too. I bought it.
Yeah.
Like
it's probably why John Romita got the book.
No question.
Book. Yeah.
Oh no, Frank recommended him. Probably he was like, "Oh, make it Romita. He kind of draws the blocky characters like I used to."
He was a good soldier, except he wasn't. If you read this book, he was actually the opposite of it. And Batman's a giant liar. But hey, you know what's something we can all agree on, and something that'll make us all really happy. We finally got some promo art for Young Justice season 3. We get to see the makeup of the team for this season.
Yay!
They look awesome.
They do. Some new characters too. Arrowette has joined the team, so now we have 2 archers. Static. Look, because here's the thing. We talked about Milestone coming back. He's got a slick new redesign. That's what he's probably going to look like in Milestone, isn't he?
Probably.
Yeah, I hope so. I think the new images are great. They look awesome. They also give you some reveals about where this is going to go. I have to give mad props because my friend, a friend of mine, Phil Barassa, is the guy who helped design those.
Oh, love Phil. Introduce us. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude, and I asked him a lot of questions about it at San Diego that I cannot repeat on this podcast.
Fair enough.
Dude loves wrestling. He did all those WWE Scooby-Doo movies, which he actually went out of his way to insert Young Justice characters into that.
Yeah, he loves that book. I mean, I heard some fans complain about, like, oh, why didn't we see a clip? But to be honest with you, like, nothing's been animated yet. So
there you go.
That's the reason why. But
what's even more interesting about the characters that they picked for this team is the characters who are absent from it. No Zatanna, although I'll assume if she's older now, she probably took her dad's spot on the League. We have Arsenal as a member of the Young Justice. but no Roy Harper Red Arrow. I wonder, because like when they announced season 3, I'm like, okay, but what concessions are they going to have to make to bring this show back? And I feel that was DC stepping in and be like, look, stop reminding people about the Red Arrow they like more. His name is Arsenal now, and he's a jerk, and you're going to love him in this show.
I don't know what... I'm not even going to do it, but I'm excited. I think it's great.
I think it is, too. Also, hey, one of the new characters they have there is Tracy, as in Tracy 13, as in the girlfriend of John Henry Irons' daughter, and the creators have said that, yes, we will have LGBT characters now in the show.
Cool. Good.
I think that's a good move.
Yeah,
I think it's a good move. I think everything so far that they've announced for Young Justice Season 3 has made me be like, cool.
Right. Yeah, I'm not like freaking out, but I'm also just I'm not dreading it or worried or think they missed the mark. It's just sounds like they know what they're doing. It's just I'm trusting smart, good, creative people to do their job.
I'm glad too that we didn't see a degrade in art style. That was my worry too. I'm like, oh no, they're going to bring it back and it's going to look way cheaper. It's going to look like Teen Titans Go.
Well, you never know. I mean, these are the designs, but like it could lose something in translation, but or it could be streamlined. I don't know.
Don't tell me that, Sal.
I have a feeling since they went after Young Justice that it'll match the other two seasons. It should. I really do.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
The fact they're calling it season 3, they would not want it to be that much of a disconnect. So I agree with that.
We also saw older Aqualad too, and this is funny because this brings up an issue of discontinuity that even the comics are having right now. What color is Aqualad's hair? Does he dye it blonde, or is he just naturally a black-haired guy? Also, is Calderon Jackson Hyde, or is he not? Because neither the TV show nor the comics can decide who he is.
I can give you that answer since we just did an Aqualad episode for Geek History Lesson, and I got the word of mouth from Teen Titans writer Ben Percy.
Ooh, I'm dying to hear this.
So Aqualad, his Atlantean name is Calderon. And when he is abandoned, when his mother takes him away from Black Manta, because that's his real father, and puts him on the surface world, his fake name is Jackson Hyde, his Earth name, or whatever surface world name.
His land name.
Exactly, yeah, and so that's the difference. So they are the same character. I also asked Ben Percy, because he's writing that character in Teen Titans, and I asked him the question, how do you feel like? Do you feel like you're constantly under this rock of like the Aqualad from Young Justice, like looming over everything you do since your character's new? And he said no, because he said that his Calder, his Jackson Hyde is like year 1 Aqualad, and then that Young Justice guy is like the experienced, been around the block guy.
Right. I think the other thing that threw fans for a loop is that obviously Calder in Young Justice was not gay, at least not that we saw. He had a girlfriend.
That's a new thing.
That's a new thing. And in the comic, they make a big point of saying that he's an LGBT teen, which, kind of plays into his whole feelings of feeling like an outsider because he's an Atlantean and everything. I wonder if they'll square that circle in Young Justice Season 3, if they'll kind of bring those characters close together, because there sort of seems to be a bit of discontinuity there.
Yeah, well, Atlanteans, man, who cares?
Right, exactly, they're Atlanteans. It's
Yep.
You can do whatever you want.
Good answer.
Let me ask you this: we got we're coming. We've been talking for a while. I want to do 3 big ticket items. What are some 3 huge things we can kind of sink our teeth into, and Jason can give us his opinion about?
Captain Marvel, art and setting and everything.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy crap! Okay, first of all, I want to point out. When I saw the art of her fighting Skrulls, number 1, yay, Skrulls. That's one of those things, it was a Quicksilver thing, where Fox and Marvel have the rights to Skrulls. Fox gets Super Skrull, and all named Skrulls, Marvel keeps Skrulls. So Marvel can have other Skrulls, I guess, whatever. And mostly that's just because, it probably makes sense because Super Skrull has the powers of the Fantastic Four, so you can't have that. You can't do that. Fine, whatever, moving on. But when we saw Captain Marvel fighting Skrulls and setting it in the 90s, I was like, oh, they're going to do the Kree-Skrull War, have Captain Marvel be out in space. And sure enough, they announced it's the Kree-Skrull War.
Looks so good.
I can't wait.
Here's the weird thing, though, and I want to ask you guys' opinion. The 90s setting bumps me.
It's weird.
Because it's a weird choice. There's 2 things with it. The one thing that doesn't bump me about it is like, oh, so are they going to set up Secret Invasion and say that several of the characters that we know are already Skrulls?
They could.
Interesting.
Shit.
Also an interesting way of how you could recast some of those parts when you meet the original come back or whatever.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
No,
because you could be like, oh, the one we've known forever has been a Skrull. The other one is, if it's set in the 90s, where the hell has Carol Danvers been for the last 30 years?
Space.
Okay, but then when she shows up in Infinity War, is it Brie Larson?
Right. And
she'll be aging backwards.
Because she'll be 50 years old.
Yeah, it's weird. It's confusing. It's like needless.
But my alien DNA keeps me nice and young, so I actually am much older than I appear to be.
Yeah, I mean, they could argue...
I'll give you that. I don't know.
Yeah, they could do the whole thing where, like, with astronaut Taylor from Planet of the Apes. She went back in time. They did the same thing in Exo Manowar. He went out into space. When he came back, he's his own age.
I honestly think, to be honest with you, you could still do the Captain Marvel movie in current Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline and still just use the space thing like we did with Guardians, and it would be fine.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you this: Is Captain Marvel
kind of complicates it?
Is Captain Marvel still going to be the buffer between the two Avengers movies?
Because I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because I know that's what it originally was. Yeah, I think it's going to be the buffer, and that's what's like, hey, here's a little breather piece in between Infinity War and probably not Infinity War 2, because I think they changed the name on that.
It's going to be New Avengers. I have like money on that.
Oh, I'm saying, because, originally Avengers 3 and 4 were going to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2. Then they were like, we could probably just put it all into one. Drop the Infinity War name for the fourth one, but it's untitled. I think Infinity War, or rather Avengers 4, will be a Secret Invasion. Just call Secret Invasion.
Interesting.
And set up the Krees or the Skrulls in Captain Marvel. And no question, the New Avengers are going to take over. Like, it's, or inherit the Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise, Infinity War forward. The question will be what that New Avengers will look like, since the New Avengers that everyone likes consist of Fox properties and Netflix series.
Everybody in the chat tried to be like, guys, she's not in Infinity War. Yeah, we get it. I think that's a stupid idea.
Right. Shoot me a link that shows me that that's true.
I just found it, actually. It's on Newsarama.
Excellent. Oh, Newsarama. Well, that's a reputable source.
Russo flatly told comicbook.com she's not in Avengers 3.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Right.
But, I think that's a dumb idea.
That's too bad.
So, yeah.
I remember she was supposed to show up at the end of freaking Age of Ultron.
That's right. There was supposed to be a cameo.
Yeah, she's another one of these characters. Like, Captain Marvel's been another one of these movies, like, or Carol Danvers, like Ant-Man, that they've kept like pushing back.
Yeah,
so
that's too bad.
I don't know. Again, it's the 90 thing is the thing that bumps me again, because the Marvel Cinematic Timeline now is starting to become convoluted because
for no reason.
Spider-Man. I'm kind of crazy with it, because I'm just like, say the universe takes place in real time. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Right? Don't set it in the future or something.
Yeah. Tony Stark has been Iron Man for 10 years. Cool.
Yeah. He ages in real time. Like,
he looks completely different but yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, they tried to do the same thing. Like, they try to like put it in their fake timeline, and like Spider-Man Homecoming kind of torpedoes the timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. And
they ignore it.
You literally just ignore the year things. You just say no. Like, 8 years later, no. Nope.
But just imagine how good the soundtrack is going to be for a movie based in the 90s. I can already see Carol just, rock it out.
To
so much Smash Mouth.
To Smash Mouth.
Somebody once told me to...
Yeah, that movie's going to begin with All-Star, guys. It's in space.
Oh, yeah.
I am weirdly okay with this.
No! Well, that's because... yeah.
It's only because I look like the lead singer.
Because you look like Smash Mouth.
As many people have told me, Major, you look like Smash Mouth. What, the band or the guy?
He is the band.
Yeah, it's gonna be Smash Mouth and Everclear as the soundtrack of Captain Marvel.
You are talking to a guy who owns a couple of Everclear albums, so.
Do you guys want to comment real quick on Michelle Pfeiffer cast as Janet Van Dyne?
I think that's a fantastic move.
Cool.
I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I think she's a fantastic actress. I think that we get to see her actually in action, so that'll be great.
I hope so too. Lawrence Fishburne as Bill Foster is a good choice too.
Love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. No.
The Defenders trailer came out as well. A friend of mine was actually in the room when he saw Defenders episode 1.
Oh, that's right. They showed it to everyone in
because they just showed it. So he said the way the panel went is that they they were talking. They brought them all out, and they were talking about Punisher. And then apparently John Bernthal just walked down like with the microphone and was just like, "I got some footage. Roll it." And they showed like 5 minutes of the Punisher.
Oh shit!
He said that it was very good. It was just a lot of scenes of him with guns and stuff like that. And then they talked to the cast for like another 10 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, we have a clip from Defenders. It's 55 minutes long."
That's awesome.
And then they rolled it. I have a minor spoiler for Defenders. It's so minor for episode 1. I don't think it really ruins anything.
All right.
Are you guys okay if I reveal it?
I'm okay with it. Let's give the chat a second. Like, so if you want to mute it, I'll wave my hands when it's over. So for now,
it comes out next month. It's going to be here before we know it.
True,
it's coming out in 3 weeks. Yeah.
Right. So here you go.
It's so minor.
Mute your mics or mute your speakers. 3, 2, 1, go for it.
By the end of the first episode of Defenders, they still don't meet each other.
God damn it!
Really?
That's the minor spoiler. That's it. You can wave your hand.
Okay, you're good. You're good.
That's slow. That's slow burn, man.
But he said, my friend said that he thought it was really good. He said that Iron Fist is much better in episode 1 than it was in his entire series.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. Okay.
And he said he really liked it. He said he thought it was really good.
That's awesome. I gotta tell you, I saw that trailer is dope. It's great. I can't wait. I love everything about it.
Weaver, man.
My favorite thing from the entire Netflix series is still Daredevil. And
mine too.
Yeah, and seeing Daredevil makes me like really excited because they get
Jones is still my favorite.
Jones is great, but they get Daredevil so right in every way. That at this actually a friend of mine, actually Ben's ex-girlfriend is friends with the dude who plays Daredevil, Charlie Cox.
Oh, holy shit.
Nice. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to meet him?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm fine." By this point, I'm like, "Yes, I do. I would like to meet him and be like..."
He's a great Matt Murdock, yeah. And the suit, I think, I've really grown... Like, when I first saw the suit, I didn't like it, but now I'm like, I love it. I like that suit.
When I first saw the suit, I'm like, "You nailed it." I'm like, "I'm fine with it."
Yeah.
I just got to...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'll come back to it.
I was going to say, there's a funny joke in the new trailer where Jessica Jones sees it, and she goes, "Nice ears," and he's like, "They're horns."
They're horns.
My favorite bit, of course, involved just a haggard Jessica Jones cracking a beer on a New York subway and just shotgunning it in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
I love it. I'm all in on Defenders, no question. They need to fix it. Like, Marvel needs... Again, just saying it out loud in case the gods hear it. Marvel, fix your shit and put them in the movies. The end. Okay, moving on.
There was also a really nice Stan Lee trailer spot, too. Did you see that, where he's driving around New York talking about what makes a hero? Chills.
I thought that was weird.
It was very weird.
I thought it was weird.
It was weird. It was dark. I'm like, okay, this is neat, I guess. If you're gonna... Stan says yes to everything, so why not?
It pushed all my buttons. I was all for it.
The fact that we got confirmation that Punisher's going to be in it was like... For me, it was a no-brainer, but it was also like... There are a lot of things for me that are no-brainers that they don't do, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Good.
Yeah.
This is Punisher. More.
Yeah.
Because Bernthal's the other thing that they completely nail.
Yep.
Yeah. His Punisher is really... is way better than I could ever think. I never thought I would like live-action Punisher as much as that.
Wow. And his interaction with Daredevil. His relation with Daredevil's gold. It's exactly what I want. I want Daredevil to go to jail. So that we can get the story arc where Punisher lets himself get arrested so he can go to jail and protect Matt in jail. I want that so
and the Kingpin.
The devil in Cell Block D.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Defender is... there's this Thor Ragnarok movie coming out. The trailer's the dope.
You may have seen it. You may have heard of it. Hulk talks. Pretty sweet.
Jason, any thoughts about Thor?
I thought visually it was stunning. I'm leaning on my fandom of Taika Waititi. I love
that guy.
Hunt for the Wilder People is one of the best movies of last year.
What We Do in the Shadows. I watched that last night for the first time. So good.
If you haven't, everybody out there, if you haven't seen his movies, go see them. This one, I have a slight minor nitpick about this movie, but I'm trusting, or the trailer, I'm trusting Taika. I was not a huge fan of a lot of the dialogue in this movie trailer because it seemed just to be jokey.
Right.
Whereas like the previous Thor Ragnarok trailer was just like, holy fuck, it's epic.
Yeah.
We are going to slap you across the face with like cosmic Marvel. and just slapping the face of it. And this trailer did teases of that, like did some really good shots, but then I was like, I don't know, this is a little too jokey for me, and I don't really want a jokey Thor movie.
I think that's just the trailer in general. I think that's like, man, Dark World, we took it way too seriously in Dark World. Let's try and pull it back a little bit.
I think it might be a little bit of both. I think we're seeing most of the humor in the movie. Because, I mean, we're dealing with the goddess of death. We're dealing with the destruction of Asgard. These are heavy topics in the context of a Thor movie. So, you know, it wouldn't be appropriate for Thor to constantly be making jokes. I think that by the time that Thor and Hulk get together, you will be, like, aching for levity.
I hope so, too. And I hope we're seeing like I said, they're just... I hope those are, like, a majority of the jokes. I know they said that a lot of this movie was improv or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat just said jokes get butts in seats. I think that's completely wrong because it didn't work for Mystery Men.
It didn't work for Mystery Men. It didn't work for Chips or Ghostbusters
You catch more flies with honey than vinegar is, I think, what he was trying to say.
Yeah, that would have been a better thing. But it's like Hulk jumping at Suitor was
cool.
I'm surprised they revealed him.
Me too.
But Fenris Wolf is seeming in this.
Yeah. But I think visually it looks stunning. I think Taiko has a really strong chance to give us the best Thor movie. It just that trailer, like I was like, oh, this is a little too jokey for me.
I think here's another thing that I'm really jazzed about. I love Hela. And
she's good.
She looks great.
I remember Tiffany was really concerned because, like, you see that beautiful shot of her with the helmet. And then you see her when she's in Asgard, she's not wearing it, and she's like, oh god, are we going to get that thing, like in the opening of Thor, where he's like, I wear the helmet, and then I take it off for the rest of the movie. And it's like, oh, well, I can imagine, like, the actress whose name escapes me for a second, for some reason, Cate Blanchett. But Cate Blanchett being like, oh, no, I can't disguise my beautiful face, I have to not wear all that shit. But no, from this trailer, it looks like she's wearing that helmet pretty much the entire time.
It also looks like she can turn it on and off, like she can summon it
which
at
is
will.
Fine with me. As long as she's
it looks
wearing
like they're going to decide depending on the scene. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. That's okay with me.
Also, Karl Urban looking pretty good as Scourge. I know some people miss him in the trailer completely. It's like, hey, it's Karl Urban, everybody.
Yeah. I wish that Karl Urban could have been Ghost Rider or something in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but fine.
There's also like a crazy shot. We've only got to see like a glimpse of him in either trailer. There's this crazy shot of like Heimdall looking all Conan the Barbarian fighting people. What is that about?
I think you know what that's about having Idris Elba and being like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to be cool?
I'm all about that. Anything that gives Idris Elba a sword and lets him just chop away. All for it.
I'm fine with that.
I fully support it.
Can we talk about the Justice League?
Oh,
giant
yeah, that's right. There's
trailer.
There's this Justice League movie coming out,
which they call a teaser, which made me laugh. Oh yeah, we got a teaser. I don't think teasers are 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah, like you
might as well just a
trailer. Might as well just release the first 10 minutes of the movie and just called it a teaser. Everything that they did to hype and promote Justice League worked. The poster, that poster of everybody that looks like an Alex Ross painting.
Check out this shirt.
Oh, yes.
Got your coexist DC with all the logos.
Freaking
man, I love that. Yeah, the
Just,
Alex Ross design poster. You were like, oh my god,
it's amazing.
If you're aping off anyone, you should ape off him.
Yeah, the Alex Ross design poster looks spectacular. Just the clip we saw, the stuff we got. Let's talk about a little bit about that. I thought it was amazing. I thought they did it smart. They started with Wonder Woman, which was great.
Did.
I thought getting to see Commissioner Gordon a little bit more was great. We get to see a lot more of the Flash, a lot more of Aquaman.
Yep.
Guys, the boom tube from the mother box looks flippin' awesome.
Yeah, it does.
And then Steppenwolf from the couple of shots in there, and then Steppenwolf does a voiceover.
Yeah.
Where we assume it's Steppenwolf. And he says, no lanterns.
That was... we're watching it in the living room. He says no lanterns, and then he says no Kryptonian. I go, whoa, did he say lanterns? And I had to go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I said lanterns. Yes.
I missed lanterns the first time. I wanted to be like, yeah, no lanterns till 2020.
Yeah.
Steppenwolf.
Listen,
no lanterns.
no lantern movie. We could get a lantern in this movie. Like there is, or at the very like a post-credit scene. Like we could get lanterns at this point. Like
yeah, I thought that stuff was awesome. The Alfred jokes were cool. I thought Cyborg's suit looked a lot better in this one than the previous trailer. Like looked more finished, and his little beat with Alfred was really good.
Yeah.
This I don't know, man. Like it's interesting because you can check out this Comic-Con trailer compared to the first one we got.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're completely different movies.
Yes.
Because it probably is with the amount of reshoots they've done. That's what worries me. I'm like,
No,
okay,
here's
but
the
what
problem
cut
with
of the
that,
movie am I
what you're
watching?
just saying now.
Yep.
Here's the problem. The trailer we saw at Comic-Con cannot be the reshoots because the reshoots only started 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
None of that footage in that trailer can be from a reshoot.
Okay, then.
Because it's you just don't have the production time. It's impossible. Then if we see another trailer before the movie comes out, then that would be reshoot footage. But
okay, then.
no way any of that footage because there's just you can't turn that CGI around that quickly.
That's true. I gotta tell you, I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. And, like, from inside the con, everybody, as soon as that trailer came out and the Justice League came on the floor, like, everybody was like, Justice League won the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Can we address the Kryptonian elephant in the room in this one, and that is that they seem to be doing revisionist history in the trailer.
Oh, God.
Superman was our
beacon.
friend. He stood for no, he was none of those things. Most of you were terrified of him.
he was reluctant and melancholy, and then he died.
He was a hero. Sally was the best of us.
You have to go off the thing. If you remember in Suicide Squad, though, they did a scene specifically where, like, they showed a guy selling a shirt.
Yes.
So what they're doing now is they're saying that the Doomsday event was like the major event where everybody thought they were going to die, not Zod.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And because Superman died during Doomsday, that's the reason why everybody's like, oh, hey.
Right, like they see Superman like give his life to save, like, you know, it's kind of a Jesus moment.
And he got a big, gaudy state funeral.
Yeah, that's fair.
There was a great moment in terms of like the panel where this. Have you guys seen the video that's been going around where this kid asks during the Hall HS League panel? He's like, "Hey, is Superman going to be in this movie?" And Jason Momoa goes, "He's dead, kid."
Yeah.
And then they cut to the DC signing at the booth, and the kid is in line, and Jason Momoa recognizes him and grabs him. And he's like, "Hey, buddy, I was just joking. Superman's alive."
Superman lives, you could say.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, can we talk a little bit about that signing? Because, like, when I heard that pretty much the entire Justice League cast was just sitting at a booth you walk up to and get signed, like, that kind of blew my mind.
It was crazy, man. Like, there was, you can see pictures where you can see, like, it's like a swarm of people just standing there, like, through half of the convention center. There's also this amazing picture that this little girl, who actually is the daughter of a DC employee who got into the line. She's like a daughter of a friend of mine, and she was the one that went up to Wonder Woman and started crying, and Gal was like, "No, we're friends. It's all good. You don't have to cry." So that picture that's went viral, which is just amazing.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
It's nice when something nice and positive goes viral.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like so many of their little moments from that signing and that Hall H have gone crazy. Now, let's talk about some other stuff. Now, I didn't hear about this until I got home yesterday. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear anything about a Flashpoint movie until I got home from the con.
Yeah, apparently when they were talking about Flash, the symbol went from Flash to Flashpoint is what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And it blew up the internet, which a lot of people have already taken with another piece of news that apparently Warner Brothers is working on a Affleck-less future for the DC cinematic universe, and they're saying, is this their way out? Is this their way to let him bow out with dignity and respect so they can cosmically retcon in a new guy?
It wouldn't be a bad movie if that's the movie he decides to leave.
Right. It's true.
It wouldn't be a bad choice.
They also had the stage to refute this, that he was leaving. The only words he said are, "They aren't going to force me out of this." And I'm like, that still doesn't say you're not leaving. That just says you're going to leave under your own power when you choose to leave.
You know, it's weird, and I don't know anything. on either side of this, but it is weird that came out right before the Justice League trailer. I heard him. Somebody asked him, and he just said that I love being Batman. He was like, I'm Batman.
Yeah, that's what I saw that. I saw that video, and he was like, dude, I love. He was very Affleck about it. He was like, I fucking love Batman, and I'm having a good time, and I'm like, right on.
He was very nice. Tiffany Smith, my co-host, who hosted the Justice League signing or whatever, said that he was so nice, and I've never met him. He said he was so nice and so happy and had a lot of fun at the signing. Like, he was like ecstatic.
That's
so
nice.
If he hates being Batman, he's not showing it to anyone.
I don't know if it's a hate about being Batman. I think if it's more of a, hey, I rebirthed myself as a writer-director. They took away my ability to write and direct the Batman movie that I was gonna do. My last couple movies had Oscar buzz and everything, and I ain't getting it from this, so maybe I want to go do other things.
Yeah, it's weird, man, because I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know if this is true, or if I don't know if this is just an internet site or news making news. I don't want to say fake news because I hate that term, but
so do I.
Crazy.
Well, I remember there was a similar report that went in Variety like 3 months before Wonder Woman opened that said that Wonder Woman was a colossal mess.
Yeah.
And we all know that was completely false.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I remember there was a lot of speculation about him walking away when they were like shifting directors on the Batman, and then when Live by Night died, that suddenly went away because it was like, oh, Affleck's in less of a negotiation point. I mean,
and the rehab stuff that came out after that.
Everything that supports these theories and stuff is all conjecture, and it's impossible. You can get completely roped up in like the Variety, like rehab / blah blah blah, like just. I don't know. Hopefully the money's good enough that Affleck's like, I just like being Batman. It's really fun to do. Hearing that he wants to, hearing the rumor that he would want to leave, and weighing it against, they throw out his script. He walked away from directing because it was getting complicated. He's relegated to like post-credit scenes and cameos and stuff like that. And I would not be surprised if he wanted to walk away and being like, it's not, you know what, it's fun, the money's good, but the fact is, like, it's not really that creatively rewarding. I'd get that.
Because it's clear, too, that they want him to be the Robert Downey Jr. They want him to be the Nick Fury.
Which is fine, like he should be.
He's together. Yeah.
He's the male equivalent of everything working with DC. Gal Gadot's the other one that's working. Like, it's Wonder Woman and Batman. Those two things are working great. And there's a significant portion of the populace that also really, really likes Man of Steel. So you can't argue with that. And listen, I dig Henry Cavill. I think he does a nice job. I can't argue with Henry Cavill's acting ability or the fact that he looks like Superman. I got no problem with that. My issues with those movies, but you know, if you just make him
Have you heard the mustache story?
I've heard the mustache. Let's talk about the mustache story because I saw more memeing of it than I heard anything like about it until I just read about it today.
Cameron Stewart drew a whole wonderful portrait that you weren't allowed to see because Cameron Stewart blocked you.
Yes, Cameron Stewart and I don't get along.
Oh, I saw it. I loved it. It was great. But yeah, so apparently he's the villain, or he's one of the villains of Mission Impossible 6, and he has a mustache in that movie. Yeah. And the Justice League reshoots were not expected to take this long, so he's filming both movies at the same time now. He's flying back and forth between the sets.
Yeah.
And Paramount was like, you cannot shave your mustache. So when he's filming his Superman scenes or whatever the hell he's doing for Justice League, he has his mustache, and they're going to have to digitally remove it in post.
Wouldn't it be easier to just make a fake mustache?
That's what I think, too.
Because that's the thing. And by the way, I'm thinking of it, my example of it is when Ben Affleck was in Chasing Amy, and he had the beard that I have, and he had to leave, and he did some other movie, and he had to shave it, and they were like, "Oh, you need the beard," and they just had someone from the costuming department make a fake beard and just popped it on. You can't tell the difference.
I think a little bit of it was Paramount, like, kind of, you know,
flexing their muscles,
like being like, "No, this is our movie, and you're stepping into our time."
Right, like you're not Superman, you're the bad guy in Mission Impossible. Okay,
but go ahead, Joel.
I was going to say, I would love in this age of digital trickery, I wish they just put like a little strip of green screen across his upper lip. And that's what they do.
Have you seen, well, okay, so I got to the one, I was like, man, I would actually really like to see some scenes of Superman with a mustache. But you talk about your little green screen mustache. Have you seen some of the behind the scenes pictures of Justice League of Gal?
No.
So Gal was pregnant for most of the filming of Justice League, there are shots of her in her Wonder Woman costume where she has her pregnancy bump, and they green screened it over it so they can cut it out in post.
Does she have like a green screen like shirt on or something, or like tape over her like stomach?
It's like she just has a green screen like over her baby belly.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and like some of those shots where they zip that out are in that trailer we just saw, and I was like, you can't tell.
No.
Digital trickery, I say.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Like that's the CG that we like, where you just you use it to obfuscate. It's a magic trick, you know.
Because can you imagine if they filmed Justice League like they used to do for 90s sitcoms, where like suddenly Wonder Woman just wearing big coats or
and
always
she's shot only from the shoulders up. We're only shooting Superman scenes from over his shoulder.
Yeah,
like that whole season of SVU where Mariska Hargitay was pregnant and they just stuck her behind a desk for a whole season.
Or Elaine when she was always wearing those ugly clothes when in Seinfeld.
I think, guys, we should talk about some CGI that I think we all don't want. The new Spawn film.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy. Spawn.
McFarlane threatens it every couple years.
But this time he has... Okay, so McFarlane's always like, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to direct it, it's going to be great, and it's going to be hard R, it's going to be scary as fuck. This time he actually said, like, Blumhouse said yes, so now we're working in business. The fact that he said that makes me think it might be... I'm going to bump it up to 25% real.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually think it's 40% real now. I think this legitimately might happen before 2020 now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's because Blumhouse is they make horror movies. They make it on a budget. They know how to they're streamlined. The fact that Todd McFarlane's directing it makes me even more skeptical.
And he's been also threatening that for years as well.
Yeah, he's always said the thing is dude's been getting his way for the last 30 years.
They've also apparently joined with the guy who produced the Get Out movie as well.
That movie's great, by the way.
It is a great movie, so it's like the good. You know, I remember, man. By the way, plugging another channel, but like, there's an amazing interview with Todd McFarlane out online right now. It just came out yesterday. Jason, what's the channel again?
Complex.
Check it out. They don't need our help. They have 1 million subs. But the show, the episode is spectacular. The interview is insightful and amazing.
It's 40 minutes.
It's 40 minutes of just McFarlane talking about Spawn. But McFarlane...
That's an inside the actor studio.
It's amazing. But McFarlane making... he makes an amazing point about the Spawn animated series, and where he's like, I never made a cartoon show before, so I just surrounded myself with incredible people who know what they're doing and made the best thing I could possibly... And I'm like, that's exactly what you're supposed to do! Like, the dude is making perfect sense. He's speaking science to you.
It's interesting, too, because I think that this is like... What was the name of the production company you said?
Oh, Blumhouse.
Blumhouse. Okay, so I think Blumhouse is like, okay, we're looking for something with some juice.
Yeah.
Spawn is this comic book that's been around for 25 years now.
Yeah.
And I bet Todd McFarlane walked in there. I bet you they reached out to Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane went in with his pitch that he's talked about in like Wizard magazine.
He's had 15, 20 years to refine it into a 5-second elevator pitch.
Yeah, well, he's always had this idea for this movie where like Spawn was almost a supporting character.
Yeah, more Sam and Twitch focused.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it's more of a horror movie, and Spawn is just like this ancillary character.
Yeah.
And I bet to keep the budget down and also to keep the idea to make a horror superhero film, I bet you Blumhouse was immediately like, that sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, a Spawn movie with no Spawn in it, we can make that. And then Sal said, I'm not watching.
$50 million, great.
Yeah,
I was going
to see a Spawn
Blumhouse,
movie with no Spawn in it.
They do those Puppet Master movies, right? Am I correct?
I thought they make a Paranormal Activity. And
I'm going to tell you here in a second what they make.
No, I'm thinking of what is it? Band. Band makes the crazy killer toy movies.
Okay.
I was gonna say Todd McFarlane should work with them because they love merchandising as much as he does. They'd get along.
Now the funny thing about it is, Kevin Smith
Split.
They made Split.
Oh, Split was good.
Kevin Smith
Split was good as well.
Kevin Smith's developing a Sam and Twitch show with BBC.
That's right.
Yeah, well, Kevin Smith is directing.
Like, what the hell's... Whoa, Todd. Like, what about the Spawn cinematic universe? Where's our Are we going to get Andy Serkis to play Cygor? Like...
I was just about to say that. I was like, oh my god, did we just see the birth of the Spawn cinematic universe? Like, when is the Creech movie happening?
Yes! When's Haunt going to pop in? How about Angela? Or, if Neil Gaiman's not game, Tiffany the Angel?
There you go.
Where's our Cagliostro period piece movie?
We won't get anyone from Youngblood, unfortunately, because they're not on good terms anymore.
They were never on
we
good
won't get our Chapel movie, damn it.
Damn it.
Chapel movie.
Chapel's face paint is so cool, though.
Yeah. Chapel, Youngblood, man, I'm on board. We can get some really, really sweet like special effects team to make a Violator movie.
Oh, yeah. Can John Leguizamo come back?
No, but
No,
we can.
not at all.
You know what's great about the Violator movie? They can just adapt the miniseries Violator, which was written by Alan Goddamn Moore.
Yes,
Damn.
it was.
So
That's quite the pedigree.
yeah. So no, actually, that's a great pitch. Yeah, we're gonna make an Angela series adapted by Neil Gaiman and a Violator series written by Alan Moore. And just fuck yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I'd sign that deal. You kidding me? Damn good deal. Anyway.
But it's Spawn.
Well-
It would be a deal with the devil you'd be signing.
Oh no.
We'll have to see if next year at San Diego if we have like a teaser trailer or even production stills.
You're right, Jason. That's the real thing. If they're still talking about it at this time next year,
Yeah.
we'll know
Then
it's real.
yeah.
No, you know what we'll see before any of those? We'll see action figure prototypes.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I went by the McFarlane Toys booth at San Diego.
Yeah.
So because I have it back here on the set, I'll pull it out real quick. They did this anniversary figure of Spawn I saw in Comic Book Shop, and I was like, okay, that has to go on my set because it has to acknowledge my crappy love for Spawn.
Right.
They're
I
making
feel that.
another one just like that, and it's Commando Spawn.
Oh.
God, I know
But
that.
then right beside Commando Spawn, do you know what license McFarlane Toys has now?
Sure you can tell
Star
us.
Trek.
Oh,
Really?
God, really? That's
And they had
awesome.
a Captain Kirk and a Captain Picard right beside it. And then also they had mock-ups because apparently they're doing the action figures for Discovery.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now,
But it blew my mind to see Spawn next
next
to
to
Captain
Kirk,
Kirk.
is
There's
it
a crossover.
which Kirk was it? Was it Show Kirk and was it Shatner?
It was Show Kirk and it was Shatner. And then it was Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard. They looked great, actually. I saw the little prototypes for them, and I was like, I might buy those.
That's awesome. I'll buy them.
Make it so.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you something really quick in action figure news. I also heard out of San Diego Comic-Con that they're going to bring back the real Ghostbusters figures,
Oh, shit.
which
Whoa!
made me like cry. Like I was so excited about that.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Those are great.
I can actually show you one of my San Diego. Besides the Invincible figures I talked about, this is probably the coolest thing I bought at San Diego at the Peanuts booth.
Ooh.
They were selling their exclusive was this writer Snoopy that comes with a
Oh,
typewriter.
cool.
That's adorable.
So it's on my desk to like kind of be like, hey, you should be writing.
Yeah, reminding you. That's awesome.
Yep.
Snoopy
Just
will
drop the
remind you.
Yeah, Snoopy will remind me to write. But that's one of my cool exclusives.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, really quick, Jason, any other like standout moments? Any great like? Oh my God, I can't get away without telling the story from San Diego.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I know my pal's book Motor Crush sold out. Brendan
Nice.
Fletcher,
Good for them.
Babstar.
Good for
They
Fletcher.
were selling the trade there at sold out, which is really good for them.
Yeah.
Fletcher's Canadian, isn't he? Or have I made
He
that
is.
up?
He is. He lives in.
Yeah.
He lives in New York now, but he was
Yeah.
from Toronto.
Like all transplanted Canadian.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I heard about some amazing moments. The Doctor Who trailer, the Doctor Who panel.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi gave a great speech, and he was asked the question like, "What's the hardest thing? What was the hardest thing you ever had to do on Doctor Who?" And he said, "Leaving it," which I was like, "Oh,
that's nice."
Um,
Really quick aside about Doctor Who, a friend of mine who's been on Movie Fights a couple times, she was working for IMDb and doing the like running that whole event, and she ran into Capaldi and she just cried because he gave her a Doctor Who like smile and a wink when he was coming off the stage, and she was like, "Ah!" I'm like,
I met him. I met him a couple years ago because we got to interview him because that's when Doctor Who was announced as part of Lego Dimensions.
right.
I got to talk to him for like 15 minutes, and it was so funny because his handler was trying to pull him away from me,
Oh,
and then he told them no, and then he came back and talked to me about comic books.
that's
It was
awesome.
He's exactly the nice guy that you think he is. That's exactly who he is.
Yeah.
So he's really good.
Did he then offer to take you away in his space TARDIS to have adventures
No.
to his companion?
No, I wish he did. I would have said yes. I don't know. I'm trying to think about some other stuff, but I think we kind of covered it. Like the big things that were the big things, really hit.
We didn't talk about Inhumans. They got a new trailer, which was a little better than the last trailer.
I guess.
If you didn't talk about Fox Doom.
No. So, but Inhumans trailer was released, and like I gotta tell you, if you are not on board for Inhumans, this trailer will not change your mind.
I actually think this trailer, if you were on board for the first trailer, would knock you off.
Oh no! Oh, I thought that's funny because I thought this trailer, like people who were Inhumans apologists, they were like, "See, vindication! I got a great trailer."
I guess for me, I thought the trailer looked even cheaper.
I thought it looked a little better, but you know what's funny? They used a couple of the same scenes, but like that awful scene where Black Bolt's like being kicked by cops. They cut it down so that it looked a little, so you couldn't see all the garbage from that awful scene. Looks so terrible.
So you guys aren't coming to my Inhuman IMAX party in September, is what you're trying to tell me?
I think IMAX would make that show look worse.
Yeah. Why would you want it bigger?
I'll tell you in September. I'm going to make that a point to see that one in IMAX.
Please do, man. Yeah. I have a feeling you're going to be able to see every piece of painted gaff tape and every plastic wall.
Yeah. Oof. Medusa's hair is going to look like Spawn's cape from 1997.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's how it's going to be. Also, did any of you guys watch the leaked Infinity War trailer?
I did.
I may have seen it, knock on wood, yes. I'm not proud of myself. I'm only human.
I'm so on board. But, like, I was on board in 2008. Why didn't they release it?
That seems to be their MO. Maybe they didn't want to piss off the fans who actually spent money and actually went and stood shoulder to shoulder.
I think they didn't want to. I think they didn't want to bump up against Justice League. I think they were like, the hype is too good for Justice League. I don't want to deal with it. Like we'll pick another time to like have the whole like season when we drop that trailer.
And when we drop it, then we can dominate the media zeitgeist in that time.
Yeah, we're not competing for anybody. Like, there's too much stuff being dropped. Also, they would also be competing with the Thor trailer.
It's true. It's true. And Avengers Infinity War trailer would have dropped it. Now, one quick little we'll talk about one little tidbit from it that I thought was interesting from the leaked Infinity War trailer that's out there.
Yeah.
Thor still has his short hair.
Yeah.
Which seems like he's coming right from Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Well, I was actually kind of worried because it looks like it spoils the ending of Ragnarok.
Yeah, because he's hanging out with a certain team, huh?
Well, just what happened, just where Thor winds up, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, because it's funny, before that trailer, I kind of thought, I was like, oh, I think Ragnarok might actually kill Thor. Like, we might actually kill Thor in this movie and then maybe resurrect him in Infinity War with one of the gems.
Yeah.
But nope.
Yeah, they apparently also gave a reason for my beloved casual Thanos, and the idea is, I think Phage said this, where he's like, look, he has the Infinity Gauntlet. He doesn't need all that other ornate armor. He's got all he needs right on his hand.
Yes, he does, because he looks like Farmer Thanos. He looks like the Thanos that learns a lesson at the end of Infinity Gauntlet. He can't do that.
I agree. He needs his little headpiece thing, because otherwise he just looks like a grown-up California raisin.
He really does look like a prune. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
But
he needs his little crown headpiece thing. Yeah, he really does.
It really ties the whole look together.
Don't let Josh Brolin hear you say that.
I mean, he doesn't care. He's doing Cable.
He's Cable.
That's true. Man, he's got a great manager, Josh Brolin. He's just cleaning up in these roles, isn't he?
Yeah.
So does Lawrence Fishburne, if you think about him, crossing from Perry White to Bill Foster.
That's true. Well, he's not doing anything. Nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman. Okay, that was all I do in this movie? Damn it.
To think they got a Perry White, a Catwoman, and a Batman all in their cinematic universe.
They do now. They do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
But no, I don't.
There's more. Yeah. But let's not give them their due, because those are the big ones. We had all the stuff. Jason, let me ask you a question about an attendee of San Diego Comic-Con.
Sure.
Everybody talks about how it's kind of like media dominated. Obviously, we talked about movies more than we talked about comics. It's becoming kind of like less about comics and more about like movies and media and stuff like that. Some folk are even saying like, it's not even really worth going anymore. Is it worth going?
Ooh, that's a tough debate. Because I'm now starting to go for a different reason.
That's true.
Like I'm now going. I've been working Comic-Con the last couple of years instead of going as a fan. So it's I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
Well, no. Comparatively, is it better as a fan or as a creator?
It's better as a creator.
I agree.
100%. It's better as a creator. It is. Because I mean I didn't see the entire convention center hall. Like I went around to the comic book companies. And then I went around to Artist Alley, and that's it. Because for me, every con is like, it's a bunch of Funko Pops, and it's a bunch of action figures that you see at every con.
Yeah.
So, and I've just never, I've never had the gumption to stand in line for Hall H.
No.
I have friends that do. I don't get it.
It's a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can read. I get just as much about reading the reports, and like eventually all the footage leaks anyway, no matter how much they stop it.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con's worth going, I think, at least once. Go once, see what you think about it, and then judge whether you want to come back. Because it is an experience completely unlike everything else. But it's funny because there are smaller cons that I like better than San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. We want to plug them? What are some of the smaller ones you like going to?
I like Phoenix Comic-Con. It's a really great con. I like New York Comic-Con because it's in New York.
Yeah, because you get to meet us.
And you guys, I don't like the convention center at all. I think the Javits Center is a mess.
Yeah.
And so confusing to navigate. I've never been, but I've heard Emerald City Comic-Con is pretty sweet.
It is really sweet.
Nice.
We had a great time, and I'll always throw out there Baltimore Comic-Con is always worth going to.
Nice.
It's
Fan Expo Toronto. You guys should come to Canada. Who said that? It wasn't me.
good because I'm not going.
I actually might be going to Toronto next year.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
for
Wicked.
something.
Nice.
Yeah.
We
We talked about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, Toronto would be fun. I've been to Ontario, not the con, the area.
Yes, the big Ontario con that celebrates everything Ontario.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you, Jason, at New York Comic Con. If you will,
I'll be there.
Nice.
I want to be on the. I'm going to put it out there in the ether because I want the fans to hear this too. I want to be on the weekly pool panel this year.
Oh man. Well, so do we. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, good luck. Throw my name around if it helps.
We will.
No, but do it.
Yeah. All right.
You can do a run and we can start and then be like, not until I'm on.
Yeah. Oh. We could turn it into a phony thing.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm invading your panel. Like we trash talk each other a couple weeks before it actually happens.
Yes.
Then we talk like a big showdown.
You should. I'll do it. I'll interrupt the middle of the panel. Yeah.
We'll make sure you have a mic. That'd be great. That'd be fun, man. I'd love it. But, all right. Well, then, there you have it, everybody. We'll see you guys next week with a all-new episode of The Weekly Poll. I want to thank our special guest, Jason Inman, for being here and sharing his insights into one of the biggest Comic-Cons of the year. And,
thanks for having me, guys. I love coming on the poll.
Thank you. Well,
and we love having you.
It's great to have you, man. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. And don't forget to stay tuned on Thursday at the same time for the poll where they're going to be talking about this week's comics. So stay tuned for that. Oh, and also, Joel, you want to plug the podcast stuff?
Yes. The poll, the weekly poll, and the Elseworlds Exchange have all been nominated for podcast awards this year. Thank you, Jason. This is why he's a good guest. He strokes our egos. This is why. You have till the end of the month to go and vote for us. You just have to make one small little account for it. It's really easy. Just need username and your email. You can vote for us. We're spread across a couple different categories, but the good thing about that is we are not. Yeah. Well, I don't think. No, I think you can only vote once. You used to be able to vote every day. Then they changed it.
Yeah.
You used to be able to, but yes, you can vote for us. And the best part is we are not. Going
competing
against each? Yeah, we're not competing, so you can vote for everyone.
Yeah. We can all win. It's not a competition between ourselves. Just against all those other guys, whoever they are.
And if you've already voted, be sure to get your grandparents and your cousins and your teachers and just random people you see on the streets with access to internet to vote for
please
us
do. But thanks a lot, everybody. Of course, if you want to find that link, it's in the chat right now and in the description box later. So long, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next week.